Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is Rick Copple, Metro Denver, Colorado. Yet another episode of Not Only Screwer Guy. I think I'll be back, did you? Sorry it's been so long since I made a video, but that's the way it goes. Real life, it's the way of things sometimes. We have a lot of stuff happened the last couple of years. Maybe things are getting forward. Maybe I can start doing more regular videos. So I'm taking a shot at it. One of the things I wanted to do was to get a real simple video out, which is basically how to set up XFCE desktop to use key bindings. Now that's harder than you think it might be, because it's kind of a little bit more complicated than the standard. You use your Windows key or Super key from the other kind of key it's called. I forget what it is off the top of my head. Yeah, you got those keys with Super key bindings on these things are a little more tricky. You use others like shift and control and all those words fine, but we're gonna go through that now. Switch over to the desktop. I think what you should be looking at right now, if I did it right, is my desktop of my framework. Installed on a Tumbleweed, which is a version of Linux that otherwise known as OpenSUSE. So yeah, I got that, but I wanted a desktop for the XFCE desktop because Plasma bombed on me. Had to reinstall everything. There is one little trick you have to know if you want to use your key bindings with the super key combinations. I've already fixed it on this machine, but I'm going to show you what I did to fix it, where you put your bindings in, all that kind of stuff. So go here, and we will go to, first we'll go to keyboard. And then in the keyboard you have application shortcuts. Click that and you have all the application shortcuts. Now you notice I like to run certain things like this browser. It's Super B. And my kitty or whatever terminal I'm programming want to be running on a regular basis. I use Super Return for that. I got these key bindings. I got used to when I used Awesome Window Manager for a while. So these are basic key bindings of Awesome Window Manager. Super X to log out. I have my own little bash file that I use for that. And it's simple, makes it real easy and fast to log out. So I use that. And then here's your LibreOffice Calc and LibreOffice Writer, which I use. That Thunar. It's very standard key binding. Thunderbird. It's mail application. Anyway, you go on down through all these, you kind of get the idea of what I'm doing here, right? I do have the launch terminal up here, which is Control-Alt-T, which is the one that came with this install, I think. It's a pretty standard terminal application opener for most programs. But it opens up the other terminal, one of the other terminals it has on here. I like to use my kitty, so I got that set for Super Return, which is what I'm used to using all the time. Anyway, you can set them however you want them on here. Set them however, any crazy alt combinations or alt shift or control alt or any of those kind of functions. Super control Z or whatever, however you want to do it. Something that you remember pretty easy, of course. So that's what I try to do. W for writer. And so now these keys bindings here don't have any problem with this. I mean, Shift Control W will work for that for pretty much anything, right? So you just plug in the key binding here. I'll show you how it works. Click add if you're adding something totally new, obviously, but you click OK on this. It'll ask you for a shortcut key. OK. Just please press the key, Shift. So press Control Shift and W. These are the key combinations. Yeah, so anyway, if I didn't already use this for this key combination, it would just replace, it would add that into there. So that's how that works. But the only thing, these are just applications you do here. Everything to do with Windows. To get to Windows, you have to go to a different program, which is Window Manager right there. Not the tweaks, but this Window Manager. There's keyboard up here. So keyboard. Here you find all your Windows things. Moving windows from one workspace to another. There's all sorts of things in here. You look through it. Like close window, Super+Q. The thing is, in applications, if you add in a key binding to use a super and then another letter, what do you get both things pop up and you get your application opens. The menu opens in addition to the application window, which means you got to go in there and hit escape every time that happens or close it out. Annoying, but you know, some people could live with it, but I'm not one of the people apparently. So anyway, the one that really gets you is the window manager keys. They are different altogether. Super+Q, didn't have my fixed in there, it wouldn't work at all. It does nothing. If I wanted to move like Super1, do you move to a different workspace on here? I would have to hit. It would never do it. It's just sit there and stare at you. What do you want? That kind of thing. So anyway, Super+Q, all these kind of things. Super this, super that won't work on a window manager at all. That's partly because of the way that the XFCE does it. It doesn't activate the window manager, the menu key. It doesn't activate the menu until you press down on the key, which is how it should be, I think. But what it is most programs, most desktop environments, put it only breaks the menu and release the key. So if you press down pretty quick, raise it up like this, boom, that pops up. But if I just press down and hold down menu key, it doesn't do it. It's going to have a special thing that I've added in, a special little program to do that with. So let's have C4 pop up whisker menu. Now, usually what you have on there is Super L, which is the left super key. That's usually when it opens up your menus and stuff like that. So that's what that does. When I hit that key, it pops up, but I have Super D there, you say. Oh, that's interesting. How does that work? Well, that's where its program comes in. First thing you have to do, you gotta go here, you go to whisker menu, pop up, XFCE, you have to set it for some other than just Super L, like Super D or Super Cape or Controller Cape or anything, as long as you remember what it is, you know, so that you can put it in your other thing. Okay, so you have that. So the first thing you do is you come here, you're this XFCE in the application shortcuts. Change this from Super L to Super D. Or Super whatever you want, or whatever other key combination you want. You can make it say all four, F4 or something like that if you wanted to. So But if you do this, then what you do is you have to then install a little program that downloads the escape, like that. Escape. $2. Escape. E. New quotation marks. Super L. Super underline L equals super underline L bar or sign basically is what it uses, and you can use it however you want it, but use a bar sign. That's what it's called. I'm not sure it's one that's over the enter key in most places. Anyway, you bar sign, then you enter your letter you use to D, or you can put whatever you want in there. Now, just one of the things is you can't have any spaces in this anywhere in this quoted part. Also, you have to use underline D, L, underline L, super underline L to designate the left super key, which you're using. You know, if you mess up one of those things, it will work. If you do this, then it'll work. Now, what you want to do is once you make sure that works, then it'll. I'm not going to hit it and enter it because then I would have to change it. But you want to do that, go copy that and you make sure it works. And you go to, let's see, sessions and startup. And you go to application auto start. And you go down through here. See. Yeah, this is what I added. It's maybe another video there. Show my little way then I have one for Wayland and one for X11. Anyway, let's see. Super key fix, that's what I call it. So I add it here. Add it, so show this. Let's call it super key fix. Put in that there. What I had in there. A single quotes here. You need one probably. Just be consistent in what you do. If you start with a single quote, you want to end with a single quote. You start with a double quote, you want to end with a double quote. So anyway, on login, it runs a script and it'll set that every time I log in, so I don't have to worry about it. So automatically does it. Ding! Super key fix, I call it. So anyway, that's what I do, and once I add that in, then every time I log in, it automatically just set that so that it works. So what it does is it causes that thing where it'll only show the menu key if I lit up. If I hold it down for a while, hold it down for a while and then I release it, then it'll pop up. If I add another key in combination with that, then it won't pop up the menu. So it'll activate the key binding you set in your application or your window manager. Whereas for all things, like I can quickly just go here and go start up my file manager. Pushing Super Q. And it's pretty easy that way. I can do it with one hand, easy. It's easier than trying to get. See on this keyboard, on this framework, a function key, and I have to hold out a function key, the Alt key, and then the F4 key. That takes at least 2 hands to do. And just do it with one hand. So I don't like using that. So the way to get the function keys to work on there is to hold the function key down. And you get F4, F3, F2, F1, whatever function key you want to use. Got to change the menu? Sure, but it's also convenient to have the activation, like the sound raising and lowering and muting and stuff like that. I have to just press down on the button for that. So it's easier for me just to put a close button, use something I'm used to, which is Super Q. Super return for bringing up the menu. Bringing up that. It works perfectly. Then I'd also have to now hit escape if I didn't have that escape program warning there, show it setting up with the D and all that stuff. So that's what I have for there. Now there are some distros use XFCE that already built in their own setup. It makes Linux. It's created by Dolphin. He makes it so that him and his crew have already set up that way, so you don't have to worry about trying to do all this stuff. In fact, they've got a lot of tweaks that they put in there. Makes it pretty cool. So you might want to check that out if you don't want to mess with all this stuff every time you put in XFCE menu into Debian or any other OpenSUSE or any other distro like that. It doesn't have it set up that way already. And I don't know if you can quote me on this, but I think not MX, but Linux Mint, I think their XFCE version is automatically set up to do key binding. Probably because I think they have it set up or they have key binding set up in their programs, right? Where they have in Cinnamon and stuff. So I think maybe they have maybe some others out there too that do the same thing. Some of them that do, some of them don't. A lot of them don't. Just depends on if they just install standard XFCE desktop or if they tweak it and their own little spins on it and stuff like that. That's what you got there. So until next time, remember, may the Linux force be with you. Bye.